welcome to the big tweak that you can use to say no to a drink. Video 5 in our How to Enjoy Christmas Sober series. So, how do you enjoy saying no to a drink? Well, what you've got to realise is that the sober superstars all do the same thing. They don't put pressure onto the people who are asking. I know that sounds a bit weird because the people that are asking them whether they want to have a drink or not are usually putting pressure onto them. And I think that's the important thing. What they've done is they've understood why people put pressure on you to have a drink. And because they've understood that, they've learned some techniques to help them to not put pressure back onto that person and not escalate the situation. Of course, we're all familiar with that situation, aren't we? You know, you're out having a nice old time, and then someone will come up to you and go, "Oh, Duncan, have a drink." I say, no, drink, it's fine. I have some spring water here. And they'll go, "No, Duncan, have a drink. It's Christmas. Well, you can have the one." It's like, well, look, Dave, I don't drink. "Oh, yeah, but it's been long enough now, Duncan. You can have a drink with your Dave at Christmas, can't you?" And on they go, and on they go. So you've got to ask yourself, why is it that people do that? Why do they behave in that way? What is it that actually makes it worse? What is it that escalates those situations and causes them to become really, really uncomfortable? Well, let's think about the first question first. Why do people do that? There's a very interesting survey done recently. What they found was that 72% of drinkers wish they drank less. Say that again, 72% of the people that drink want to drink less. So what do they think when they see you? Some of them, few of them, very occasionally are going to look at you and think, well, there's a great example of how I can drink less. Maybe I should find out some top tips from this person who has managed to stop drinking. Some of them, but very few of them. Most of them are going to feel a little bit bad in your presence. The simple reason that they want to drink less, they aren't able to drink less, they don't feel they're capable of drinking less, therefore you kind of show them up. You make them feel a bit bad. So the simple answer is, why do people give you a hard time about not drinking? It's usually to do with their own fear that their own drinking is not under control. So what are you going to do about it? Well, first off, diffuse the situation. And I get it, I really do understand it. The classic reaction to somebody who's giving you a hard time is to push back, isn't it? Give them a hard time, but that just escalates it, increases the tension. So what you can do is diffuse the situation. And one of the best ways to do that is to minimize the importance of not drinking. Now, look, just between you and me, we know that stopping drinking is the greatest thing that we've ever done. We know how huge it is. We know what a wonderful thing it is, what a massive effect it's had on our lives. We know that we are never going to drink again. However, that is not the thing to say to these people, because that is pushing them, that is pushing into the fear they have that they can't control their own drinking. So you minimize it and you talk about it in a way that doesn't make it sound like a big deal. But typically, if somebody's kind of being a bit annoying about it, I'll just say, "Oh, look, I'm not drinking at the moment and it seems to be working out for me." And that's very interesting as a phrase, isn't it? I'm not drinking at the moment. I.e., I haven't said it's a forever thing, just a for the moment thing. And then the other part of that is, it seems to be working out for me. I seem to be doing all right at the moment. It's very non-committal and it's very much about me. It's not saying everybody should do it, and it's not saying it's actually a brilliant thing. It's just, it seems to be working out for me. So phrases like that, I'm not drinking at the moment and it seems to be working out for me, and really defuse the situation. They can take it down a notch or two. That will deal with most people. Most people will go off and do something else. But when confronted with a phrase like that, because you haven't pushed into their fear, you haven't escalated the situation. If it doesn't work, well, it's kind of simple too. You use the wonderful medium of distraction. You say, Dave, I'm so glad you have come over here to talk to me because I have got a question for you. I was just wondering whether the Kansas City Chiefs, why can't I say the Kansas City Chiefs? I was just wondering whether the Kansas City Chiefs are actually good for their record. Do you think they're overperforming? Do you think they've got away with it in a few games? Do you think they're going to crumble towards the end of the season? Well, now, Dave is on his favourite subject, why the Kansas City Chiefs are not actually as good as their record would suggest. And he'll be talking about that till at least the start of the Super Bowl. He has totally and utterly forgotten that he was on a mission to get you to drink, and now he's just going to talk about football. Of course, Dave might not be interested in football. It might be ice hockey. It might be James Bond. It might be knitting, crochet, for all I care. You know that Dave is really, really interested in something, and so long as you can get him onto that track, he is going to leave you alone. So, number one, defuse the situation by minimising what's going on with you not drinking and your sobriety, but also number two, distract the person that is giving you a hard time. Get them onto their area of choice, their favourite hobby horse, and then they'll be off. They'll totally forgotten about you. So what can you do practically? You can practice those phrases. I mean, I am very comfortable saying, I'm not drinking at the moment, and it seems to be working out for me because I've said it a lot. I've used it a lot. If you're not so comfortable with it, just emphasize, practice it. Sit in front of the mirror. Quite like Robert De Niro in... It was Al Pacino, wasn't it? God, I'm getting everything wrong in this video. Not like Al Pacino in Taxi Driver. It was Robert De Niro. Anyway, look, you've probably never seen Taxi Driver, so my reference is a bit off. Anyway, right, practice it in front of the mirror. Just say to yourself, drinking at the moment, and it seems to be working out for me. Just try it a few times. If you don't like that as a phrase, think of another phrase, but make sure it really minimises what you're doing. It doesn't push into the fear of the person who's giving you a hard time. And then secondly, the other thing you can do is think about where you're going to end. Think about the kind of people that you're going to be with. Think about the Daves in your life and have an idea about what a good distraction would be, a good question that you could ask them. So glad you're here. I really wanted to know how to do crocheting. I literally know nothing about crochet. So if Dave was really into crocheting, I'd probably have to do some research as well. You could come up with that question that would distract Dave. So those are your principal techniques, understanding that it usually comes from a place of fear, using it, taking the tension down, and then finally using distraction to get yourself free. So go out and use those and enjoy those Christmas parties because it's Christmas. It's meant to be fun. You are meant to enjoy yourself. So go out and have some fun. And I will see you on the next video, which is a fantastic tactic that you can use to actually enjoy time with your family.